Hey, BA, was there any update on Antonio Brown's knee situation?
No, he's in the MRI now, so we'll find out more this afternoon.
And, one of the big plays yesterday was, of course, Tyler Johnson on that 3rd and 11. Then Scotty Miller had a huge play. I know Tom has a lot of trust, but what does it say about just that, right? That those guys are in that situation. It's only like Tyler's 12th catch of the year, that he spent the time he would work with those guys and trust them in those big situations.
Yeah, I mean, it's just he sees those guys work so hard on the practice field, and he's got a great rapport with all of them, but especially Scotty. But, I mean, Tyler, very few guys can twist and turn and make that catch. But Tom put it out there, and he knew Tyler could make that catch. And, I mean, he's got a great future.
Thanks, Coach.
We'll go to Junaline.
Hey, Coach, along the same lines of Antonio, he's undergoing an MRI, but are there any sort of early indications? Was there significant swelling? Is there any more you can tell us about it from a preliminary standpoint?
No, not at all. Sorry.
It's okay. I understand. And let me ask you this, if I may. Obviously you can't do the exact same thing that you did against this Packers team in week 6, right? Like, and in danger of being too predictable. But what are some of the things that you really like that worked out really well for you guys going against them in week 6?
Again, win the turnover battle. We got the ball away from them, and one was a pick 6. But anytime you go on the road in the playoffs, you got to win the turnover battle if you're going to have a chance.
Thank you, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go to Greg Allman.
Hey, Bruce, I just want to check with you on Jamel Dean. Had seen he had to come off the field briefly at the end of the game. Want to make sure he was okay as well.
Yeah, all those guys, we'll know more later this afternoon. They're all, at the training room, doctors and everything right now. We had a bunch of them, but I don't think any of them are too serious.
I do know that Jack Sitchie, you had said, broke his arm on that initial punt there. I just want to ask, can you get by with the existing linebacker depth you have, or do you guys need to sign somebody and get them through protocols quickly here?
Well, no, we'll get Kevin Minter back. So getting Kevin back will help, and then we'll move Dayon Buchanan up.
Okay, Bruce, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll go to Scott Reynolds.
Hey, Bruce. The forecast is for cold and snow up in Green Bay. That's obviously an element that they play in and are used to. You can't replicate snow down here in Tampa. I know you tried to go inside to practice in a domed environment. You've practiced at night for night games. But, hey, how do you prepare your team that is a Florida-based team for that type of elemental conditions?
It's just a matter of staying warm on the sidelines, because when you're out there on the field, I don't know if anybody, every time I played in Green Bay, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Buffalo, nobody was cold out on the field. Mm-hmm. It's a matter of, it's more mental than staying warm on the sideline. Got all that technology now with heaters and everything else. So it's really not, it's different, but it's not that big difference.
And then, Bruce, how are you feeling? It sounds like you're a little under the weather today.
No, I'm fine. I'm good.
Okay.
Great.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
We'll go to Joey Knight.
Coach, the duo of Fournette and Jones worked so effectively yesterday. Are you inclined just to continue working them in tandem like that?
Yeah, that's kind of been the plan all year, just trying to keep them both fresh and, getting Rojo back and getting him back in shape from the COVID and the finger. So Leonard's done a great job in his absence, and Rowe really added a spark when he got in there. So it's a good 1-2 punch.
And the turnovers, you've only committed 2 in the last 6 games. That's the whole storyline. Just behind the scenes, how much do you preach about it to the guys? Do you preach about it so much you get sick of hearing about it?
I think they do. They do, because that's where we start every meeting.
Thanks.
We'll go to Kevin O'Donnell.
Hey, Bruce, having another big signature win versus, a quality team like New Orleans yesterday, what does it do for a team that kind of has struggled? It was the first win you've had against New Orleans, and obviously I think they've beaten them, 5 straight times. So what does that do? I mean, you could tell the energy in the locker room was at an all-time high.
Yeah, I mean, it boosts the confidence for sure, but we went there expecting to win. It was not a shock to us that we won, and we went there to expect to win. We're such a different team than when we played back in November. So, The same thing. Green Bay's a different team than we played back then, so those games don't really matter anymore.
And they talk that Tom has a different guy come playoff time. He kind of cranked it up even more. What has he done just the leadership with both sides of the ball of preparing guys for playoff level that some may have not have seen it before?
Well, Tom really hasn't changed. His preparation is unbelievable every game, whether it's September or January. But when you've been there and done it, guys just follow you.
Thank you.
You bet.
We'll go to Steve Isbitz.
Coach, now that you've had a chance to watch the film, what did you really like most about what you saw in yesterday's game?
Offensively, I liked the running game. I thought our offensive line protected and blocked it, and tight ends put them in there too. Aaron Stinney played his tail off. Defensively, it was the takeaways. Just getting the ball away from those guys. We knew it was going to be hard, but we did a great job of it.
And can you talk a little bit more, maybe just some details about what stood out from Stinney, and how good was his performance, and maybe compared to the way Kappa was playing, or just in general?
Yeah, he's a different player than Cap, but he in the running game and the passing game, he played lights out. He's got a great future.
We'll go to Luke Easterling.
Bruce, it felt like, both in terms of the initial game plan and the way that you guys adjusted on both sides of the ball as the game went along, that Todd and Byron both really just coached a fantastic game. What can you say about the preparation leading up to the game throughout the week in practice, and the way they schemed it, and also the way they responded to the way the game was going?
Yeah, I thought it was outstanding. One of the best jobs I've seen done by both of those guys, and even our special teams adjusting after the punt return. But those two guys, they're great coaches, and they do a heck of a job.
And I think there were 5 guys, if you look in the one reception, but all 5 of those receptions felt like it was, they all came at key moments in big moments. What can you say about the ability of each player, whether it's a star or a rookie, to kind of show up when their number's called and make a play?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's all about. You get your opportunities, man. You got to make the best of them, and you don't know when they're coming. And this time, Scotty jumped out there and was really a play designed for Antonio, but Scotty ran a great route, beat him. Tyler makes a great catch. Stinney steps in there and makes a great job. I mean, it's everybody just doing their job, and that's when we went down there. Just all we got to do is do our job. We're good enough to beat anybody.
We have time for a few more. We'll go to Rick Stroud.
Bruce, I think I read where Brady, this is like his 14th championship game, right? Which is, if he was a franchise, he'd be the greatest franchise on earth. But did you sense from him, for all that has happened, the move, what he's done, the offseason, the pandemic, that this one was special to him? Did he share with you anything like what this had to mean a lot, right?
Yeah, you could tell. Yeah, the emotions were really, really good. And, we had some good moments on the field and in the locker room and on the plane, but he knows it's just starting. This is far from being finished. So he's holding most of them in check.
All right. Thanks, Bruce.
We'll go to Jenna Lane.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned a few moments ago that this is a different Packers team than the one you faced in Week 6. What stands out to you as far as the way they've evolved throughout the season to where they are now?
Yeah, I think their defense is really, really playing well, and their young secondary, couple of guys are playing outstanding. Their pass rush is good, but again, the same thing. They're running the ball so well. I mean, they present a heck of a challenge in the running game, and Matt Sutt's a creative guy offensively, but he and Aaron are really on the same page.
Our last one will come from Scott Reynolds.
Bruce, you look at the big plays and contributions you've got from Sean Murphy-Bunting, Devin White, Scotty Miller, Mike Edwards, Jamel Dean yesterday, and then the rookies this year, Wirfs, Winfield, Tyler Johnson, all those big plays. Could you just speak to the job that you and Jason Light have done in building this roster and having success in the draft, especially these last 2 years, and how that paid dividends, not just this season, but more importantly, yesterday?
Well, I got to say, Jason is the main reason I came back in coaching. And I knew how good of an evaluator he was, and having worked with him. And we shared the same vision. And we're going to build this thing on defense. We'll score enough points, but just building the roster the way he has, and then being able to get Tom and Gronk, Leonard, and still be really cap friendly with this roster that we have. We believed Rojo was a player. He had all that talent. It was just a matter of maturity. So can't say enough about what Jason's done. And to me, he's executive of the year, just pulling off all that stuff he did.
All right, that's all for today. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.